6 News starts now.
I'm Chet Davis, live this morning at Moreau State Park, where a 9-year-old girl went missing over the weekend. The latest update on the search efforts.
No tip is insignificant.
Plus, the community comes together in the hopes of Charlotte's safe return, how some are planning to honor her potential return.
Plus, upstate New York fighting back against New York City, the latest attempt to keep the migrant crisis out of upstate.
And we begin with breaking news. A massive search underway right now for this little girl right here, missing 9-year-old Charlotte Cena, who was last seen at Moreau Lake State Park.
Yeah, an Amber Alert was issued yesterday in hopes that the public is going to be able to help law enforcement in this search. I know I got it on my phone. I'm sure most of you heard that yesterday morning. Here's a map of where she was last seen and where the search began. That's Moreau Lake State Park right there.
Yeah, and joining us live now is CBS 6's Chet Davis with the latest information on this search. Good morning, Chet.
Good morning, Lara and Julie. We're right outside the state park this morning because it is closed. We're not allowed inside. This is what it looks like right now at the entrance. We see probably half a dozen police vehicles and personnel in front of the gate. They did not provide any update. They've been searching throughout the night and into the early morning hours. Charlotte last seen here at 6:45 Saturday night. The Corinth fourth grader went missing after taking a bike ride here at Moreau State Park. That bike was found in the area of Loop A at the park. An Amber Alert sent out Sunday morning with this picture of Charlotte. She was last seen wearing an orange tie-dye Pokemon t-shirt, blue pants, black Crocs, and a gray bike helmet. An update to that Amber Alert describes her as blonde hair, green eyes, and almost 5 feet tall. More than 100 people have spent nearly 2 days searching for her, using all resources, including drones, canines, aviation, and underwater search teams.
We are leaving no stone, no branch, no table, no cabin unturned, untouched, unexamined in our search to find Charlotte.
Charlotte has been described as a joyful girl, and she was just elected as an officer of her student council. So as you can imagine, everyone in this area really hoping for the best outcome here. Reporting live at Moreau State Park, Chet Davis, CBS 6 News.
Well, and the community coming together for Charlotte with a candlelight vigil last night. So you can see in this video here, lots of little kids at this vigil. You don't usually see such young children at a vigil like this. This video was sent in by a viewer named Joy. Joy says the community is organizing a porch light campaign, meaning that they'll be lighting up their porches until Charlotte is found. Her Aunt Jean is pleading for the public's help.
Like any parent, that they just would pray for her safe return, and that she comes back to us safely, but also that no tip is insignificant. So if anyone has any information at all, saw anything in the vicinity of the entrance to the Moreau Lake State Park, or are camping here and have any information at all.
And again, police will be searching throughout the day. So if we're going to get a number up on the screen here, but if not, call 911 if you see her or if you have any information about where she is. And you can get all of the day's top stories, breaking news, updates on this story, and access to our Chime In galleries by downloading the CBS 6 News app. It's available for free on the Apple App Store and Google Play.
All right, switching gears over to weather now. Coming off of an absolutely beautiful weekend, and what a nice weekend to see the foliage too. Like the colors are really starting to pop.
Oh yeah, I mean, now we're reaching the point where even in the next few days, you're going to notice a difference. Every day you start to notice the colors a little brighter. And especially in about 2 weeks, that's when the colors are really going to peak. This is the prime weather to get the colors really starting to pop. You want those bright sunny days, warm, and then cool, crisp nights. And we are going to have a string of those. Of course, we have to wait for the sun to rise, which is going to happen in about a half hour. Not seeing anything right now in Lake George or Schenectady or any of the other cameras this morning. We are going to have to watch for some patchy fog developing this morning. I don't think it's going to be as dense as we saw yesterday, but still you could see visibility is diminished in some valley locations, Glens Falls, Bennington, North North Adams. So just keep that in mind if you are driving around for the next few hours. That will burn off, and then we are set for a lovely day today. Temperatures right now in the mid-50s. It's 57 Amsterdam, 56 Albany, 56 in Saratoga. High pressure's in control, and that means we're going to be warm and very dry for the next several days, including today. Today we're getting up into the upper 70s. Notice I mentioned that it's going to be a bit hazy. There is upper-level wildfire smoke, but fortunately very minimal impacts to the air quality. So we're only going to warm up from here. You see 70s. We could be talking 80s the next few days, and then inevitably we do cool down. So we'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes. And then, well, before we get to that, we're going to have conditions that are going to be warming up the next several days, including tomorrow, 83 degrees we're going to be up to, and that record high is also 83, so it's really going to get warm. Wednesday also temperatures very warm, but then inevitably we do cool down, as I mentioned. So again, now we'll toss it back to you guys, and we'll see you in just a few minutes.
All right, Sam, thanks. At the live desk now, this will be the other big story of the day. Arena football is returning to Albany in 2024. The new team president, Jeff Levac, confirming that information late last week, but today, we're expecting to get more details in a news conference set for 11:30 this morning. This year, of course, a roller coaster with indoor football in Albany, from the chaos during Antonio Brown's reign to Albany Empire being terminated by the NAL. So far, we know the team's ownership is local, and the head coach and general manager will be Damon Ware, the previous offensive coordinator and interim head coach. We're hoping to learn today the team name and what league they'll play in.
An ICU patient at Saratoga Hospital is facing possible charges this morning after police say he stabbed 2 nurses. And we're still working on getting details about exactly what happened, but we do know that the 2 nurses are expected to be okay. The city's public safety commissioner, Jim Montagnino, says the suspect had a heart attack after that stabbing happened. Police say criminal charges are pending as they continue investigating. All happening today, the trial for the accused murderer Jacob Klein is expected to continue. He's accused of breaking into Philip Rabati's New Scotland home and stabbing him to death. Today, a witness is expected to testify on Klein's cell phone data about his location the day of the killing. On Friday, jurors were shown graphic autopsy photos. The doctor that did the autopsy testified that Rabati did try defending himself as best he could while being attacked. Stay with CBS 6 as we keep you updated on the very latest from this trial. Also happening today, the man charged with attempted murder after shots were fired at the Homewood Suites in Guilderland last week is expected to be in court. Chandler McRae is accused of firing shots in his own hotel room, leading to a 2-hour standoff with the police. Guests were evacuated, but nobody was injured. Police say they found 2 guns in the room. Now, McRae was originally scheduled for an appearance on Friday, but it ended up getting rescheduled to today because McRae was in the hospital, but we're not sure why.
An upstate county is blocking New York City's recent attempt to move its homeless population north. Mayor Adams announced last week that housing vouchers for the homeless could now be used outside of the 5 boroughs to free up space for migrants. Now, according to the Oneida Daily Dispatch, the Oneida County executive is firing back with an emergency order saying no voucher would be accepted on his turf without his say. Under this order, Oneida has the right to refuse New York City housing vouchers. The county must also be given 30 days to offer available rental space to clients from its own Department of Family and Community Services, basically giving locals first dibs before accepting vouchers from New York City.
The Glen Ridge Road Bridge has been hit once again. This was yesterday, and it was despite all that new technology put in place to try and stop this from happening. According to the town supervisor, the driver said that he didn't see any of the warning signals, which is just shocking. The supervisor says, quote, obviously it's very frustrating that this problem persists in happening and that they, quote, are always going to mitigate the problem, never going to eliminate it.
Taking a live look at New York City now, where former President Donald Trump says that he will be heading to court to, quote, fight for his name and reputation. Today is the start of Trump's civil trial, where a judge has already ruled that the former president committed fraud in his business dealings. This trial is the culmination of a years-long investigation by State Attorney General Letitia James. She accused Trump and his company of habitually lying about his wealth in financial statements. Trump isn't expected to testify for several weeks. The stakes are higher this time around for Trump as Tish James seeks $250 million in penalties and a ban on Trump doing business in New York.
Days after voting to dissolve the organization, the founders of the African American Cultural Center in Albany are hoping that another group comes in to use the facility to provide the art and cultural programming that they had envisioned from the beginning. The African American Cultural Center introduced Juneteenth to the Capital Region, putting on events, celebrations, educational opportunities, and more. Over the last few years, though, the center has lost funding, staff, and programming. So now its founders, like Dr. Alice Green, hope the community can rally behind a new venture with the same goal.
We would love to have, the community supported financially. I think that's going to be important, obviously. But even more important than that is the leadership. The community wants this center, and so we're going to make sure they get it.
As for the South End grocery store, at one point connected with the African American Cultural Center, Dr. Green says they're hopeful that a new center will not have a grocery store as part of its reach. And we've also been told that the South End grocery is closed at the moment. It's 11 minutes past the hour. Earbuds or headphones. Depends on what you plan to do in them, or if you just want to be like old school.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, we'll show you Consumer Reports hot picks that apparently won't break the bank. Taking a live look at New York City this morning, where New Yorkers may be waking up to some hazy skies today. Mayor Eric Adams said smoke from Canadian wildfires may reach the city around sunrise this morning. The State Environmental Conservation Department is monitoring the situation. They expect the air quality will be in the moderate range. That means it'll pose some risk to people who are usually sensitive to air pollution. Health officials urge people to stay indoors if they start to feel symptoms like watery eyes or a scratchy throat.
Well, from the gym to the airport, even the grocery store, wearing headphones seems to be the norm. So with so many different types and styles, how do you choose the right pair without breaking the bank? Well, CR looked at fit and how these headphones are used. The good news is there are great picks at every price point. For exercising, this sports pair from Sennheiser has very good sound quality. It scored excellent for predicted reliability and owner satisfaction.
And if you're someone who really is critical about the quality of the sound, then you'll want a headphone that gives you the finest detail. And those are the models at the top of our ratings that produce excellent sound quality.
Yeah, all of those on that scrolling are very expensive. CR's labs are seeing more models with excellent noise-canceling performance than ever before. The Soundcore Life Q20 is a good choice. All right, $50, right?
That's
good. It
good.
has great sound quality and outstanding noise cancellation, but I don't think you can wear those really.
Yeah, no. I wear earbuds, but I wear like cheapo $40 versions that I bought at Amazon.
Yeah.
Honestly, a lot of times you're just paying for the brand. Like a lot of them, the sound quality's similar, and like the Beats, they're hundreds of dollars.
I know.
I have Sony, much more reasonable, and the sound quality's pretty good.
And listen, if you're wearing them to work out and you're sweating all over them anyway.
Yeah, why do you want something that's like $300?
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's going to be a good day to work out outside, Sam, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you would know as a runner, and if anything, this weather the next few days is going to be a little bit too warm to run. It's going to feel like the end of August these next several days, not the beginning of October. We are going to be getting up into the upper 70s today like we did yesterday. In the next few days, we could actually be in the range of the 80s. So warm start to this month, and we're fairly mild this morning in East Greenbush, 61 degrees. Still waiting on the sunrise around 6:50 a.m. today. Visibility a bit diminished in valley locations, not as widespread as we saw yesterday, but you notice Glens Falls, 3-mile visibility, North Adams and Bennington also at a low level. So you just want to keep in mind these next several hours there can be some fog, and especially it could pop up out of nowhere in valley locations. So just keep that in mind. It will burn off by the middle of the morning, and then we should be in great shape with bright skies, but there you may notice a slight hazy tint. We had that story before talking about the air quality in New York City. Not going to have huge impacts in the air quality, but there is more wildfire smoke blowing down from some of these wildfires that have been raging since May in Canada. We're going to get another batch blowing over the area, but it's high enough in the atmosphere that any sort of impact on the air quality, once again, will be very minimal. I think it peaks today in terms of the haziness. Tomorrow, a lot of that blows off towards the east, so no concerns whatsoever tomorrow. But today, maybe it's a little bit diminished. Right now, we're in good shape, but watch today the forecast put out by the the National Air Quality Association, they have moderate levels across the capital region. So if you're in a very sensitive group, you may notice it, but for most of us, it won't have any impact. Besides that, high pressure's in control, and it's a very expansive area. So we're going to be locked into this pattern for some time. And check out what this pattern's going to do to our temperatures. Today, we're going to be starting off right around 60 degrees, waking up once the sun rises, and then by the afternoon, getting up into the mid-70s. Normally, our highs this time of year are in the upper 60s. So a warm day. Tomorrow, it is much of the same. We're waking up, the temperature is right around 60 degrees, and then a couple degrees warmer. I think we could top off tomorrow afternoon in the low to even mid-80s. That would put us in the territory of a few records. Record high in Albany's 83 tomorrow, 82 Glens Falls, 83 in Poughkeepsie. Right now, we're calling all those numbers to reach those values, and some of these records go back 100 years, so warm stuff for the first week of October. We're going to stay that way through basically the end of the week. I think we could reach 80 today, or tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, we start to drop off, and that is a sign of things to come. We're warm the next several days, but inevitably what goes up must come down, and cooler air is going to be intruding, I think, especially by this weekend. So we'll go from above average, average, and by this time next week, we could be seeing below average temperatures. So we'll enjoy this while it lasts. This afternoon, 75 to 80 degrees, a bit hazy outside, but again, very minimal impact to the air quality. Tonight, 50 to 55 degrees, patchy fog developing late. And then for the day tomorrow, upper 70s to low to mid 80s, which would put us in the range of a few records. Right now, record is 83 from 1967 in Albany. Right now, we're going for 83 for a high tomorrow. Also doing 83 on Wednesday. Thursday will be a warm day. Showers return on Friday. And look what happens to temperatures after this. 60s and beyond. I think by this time next week, we could just have highs topping off in the upper 50s, guys.
All right, Sam, thanks. Taking a look at Traffic Authority map, we have no breakdowns, no accidents right now. These are some good drive times if you're going to be leaving the house this early in the morning right now. Saratoga to the Twins, 17 minutes.
This CBS 6 traffic report is sponsored by AAA, with you all the way.
All right, it's 5:20 now. A new mental health program in California has many people on high alert.
Yeah, this sounds like a movie. Why critics say people could be forced into medical treatment without their consent.
CBS 6 News is sponsored by Siena College. Register for open house today.
Meteorologist Sam Copeland here, taking a look at your headlines for this Monday, October 2nd. We're going to be dealing with a bit of patchy fog this morning, not as widespread as yesterday. Once that burns off, we are sailing. We're getting up into the mid to upper 80s. Lots of sun, slight hazy tint to the sky because of wildfire smoke, but fortunately, very minimal impact to the air quality. Besides that, we are warm and dry throughout the rest of the week. We go up into the 70s today, but the next several days, I think we could reach into the 80s. Eventually, though, we do turn more unsettled and much cooler heading into the weekend.
All right, Sam, at the live desk now, a new alternative mental health court program is set to begin in 7 California counties today. The program is designed to fast-track housing and medical care for people with untreated schizophrenia and other psychotic disorders, potentially without their consent. Governor Gavin Newsom is calling this Care Court. The goal is to address the homelessness crisis. Family members, a roommate, or anyone who has witnessed someone experiencing mental health issues can request a judge's intervention. But civil rights advocates have raised fears that the new process will result in vulnerable people being forced into treatment.
And now, CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by your local upstate Chevy dealers.
Damar Hamlin making his first appearance in a game since January's cardiac incident, and the Bills putting on a great game to beat the previously unbeaten Miami Dolphins 48-20. Josh Allen throwing for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Stephon Diggs caught 6 passes for 120 yards and 3 touchdowns. Diggs had a great game. The Bills are now 3-1, heading to London next week to take on the Jaguars following his season debut. Damar Hamlin appreciating the moment.
It felt amazing, the energy from the fans was amazing, but just being able to be out there with my teammates, have my family in the stands, play again with, everybody on the team, that just gives me confidence, just feeds me positive energy, positive everything all week long. And just to get out there and play with everybody again felt amazing.
It was great to see him out there. And we were like, where is he? Where is he? Looking for. Quick turn around in MetLife Stadium as the Giants will try to bounce back from a Week 3 loss as they square off against the Seahawks tonight. The Seahawks have actually never lost when playing in New York, boasting a 5-0 record in MetLife Stadium, including a Super Bowl win. For the Giants, it's a must-win game as they have a tough schedule coming up, facing Miami and Buffalo over the next 2 weeks. Lara, are you nervous?
I think we all know what's going to happen in all these games. I'm just mourning the losses now at this point. What can I do?
Some fan you are. Come on, where's the optimism?
I mean, I don't know. A new virus infecting babies before they're even born. How doctors are hoping to catch it before symptoms turn deadly.
And we're live outside of Moreau State Park this morning as the search efforts continue for the missing 9-year-old girl. Find out how one of the school districts in this area is reacting this morning.